No. Is anybody completed the mail to? Mail to anyone completed?
Maybe I'm also just checking why image is not displaying for me. So that's why I did not send it. I will
Okay.
send it. Yeah.
Okay. So regarding the mail to, so you need to use the anchor tag. Within the anchor tag, you have to use it href, and then equal to, you need to use mail to. You need to use it here, mail to. Instead of a URL, you need to use it here, mail to : let's say some writing @gmail.com. And this is the URL, and in between the anchor tag, we need to use it here, send email. Send email. Now let's save this. It is a web 4 documents. We use VS Code and LWC. HTML and the code. So here you have a send an email. If you click on this, if you have already installed your Outlook or if you have opened your Gmail account, then it will open. Otherwise, it will not open. Right? So your Gmail account has to be within the. Your Gmail account has to be open, or you need to install the Outlook. If you click on if you install the Outlook and if your installation is done, if you have already the Outlook is present, and if you click on this, send email, it will open up the email. So you can use the mail to tag. Now, next we're moving on. Styling with HTML. So styling will be always done using the CSS. Styling is always done using the CSS. So CSS is nothing but cascade style sheet. Cascading style sheet. So whether it is a HTML, Aura, LWC, whichever the tool you take it, JavaScript, wherever you go for it, styling is always done only one way, is using the CSS. CSS stands for cascading style sheet. So styling can be added to the HTML. What are the HTML so far we have created? By using the styling, we can add the HTML. But there are 3 different ways we can add the styling to the HTML. So the first one is inline styling. Inline styling is nothing but styling to the specific attribute. Now you want to style it to the anchor tag, you want to style it the paragraph, you want to style the bold, or you wanted to style the different element attributes. So it is specific to the attribute. The second one is called internal styling. Internal styling. So when we say internal styling, for internal styling, we will apply the style element, starting of the style and ending of the style. So there will be a style element in the HTML section. Now next one is a external styling. Now external is using the one or more external CSS files. So where we will be external CSS, we will be applying to the all the multiple HTMLs. For example, you have a system. In the system, you have implemented multiple HTML pages you have implemented. Now for this, all these HTML pages, you wanted to apply the same styling. So when you want to apply the same styling for all these 4 HTMLs, you need to call the CSS external CSS. The CSS file is sitting somewhere outside and insert that inside the HTML. Using this external CSS, we will be implementing the HTML. Now, first one we will see the inline styling. So inline styling is specific to the attribute. That means if I want to apply a style to the HTML attributes like a H1, H2 or body, if you want to apply specific, then you will go for a inline CSS. Example for that, H1, and in order to apply the styling, you have to use a keyword called style. This is inline styling. Inline styling is always having the attribute which is called style. Style equal to color colon blue. So that means I'm applying the color for this header. Right, similarly for the other one, I'm applying a different color. And let's say here another example, body. So for whatever the body we have it, I'm applying the background color for different background color. So let's say if I want to implement a HTML using the internal CSS, like normally we will write the HTML header, and inside that this is the internal CSS. So first we will say the inline CSS. So for inline CSS, we will be applying to the specific to the element. Now let's see how to apply this specific to the element. Then we will go for the internal CSS. Let's create a new one. File. New text file. Select the language. Let's specify here HTML. Specify the HTML. Now here I'm going to specify here HTML. Now inside this HTML, let's specify the header. And then we have a body. Inside the header, we will be adding the title. Title equal to. Title will specify here. Let's say my first CSS page. Now inside this, we will be adding the inline CSS. So to add the comments, I'm adding the comment here. Comment is inline CSS. Inline CSS example. Now let's say I'm going to add it here, H1. Now let's specify here H1. And I'm going to add it style. Style equal to, let's say, color. Now I can choose any color here. Let's say I can choose it different colors. Now let's use this dark magnet. And this is the name of the heading is, let's say here, this is the first heading. First heading. And we have a next one, H1. Now for this H1, we will say style equal to color, colon. If you want, you can choose it anything here, let's say brown. And the heading of this one is, let's say, second heading. Please switch off the video. Okay, so this is H1 style, and this is H1 style for color, and this is the another H1. And now let's say if I wanted to add paragraph, for paragraph also I want to add it. In that case, I'll say here paragraph. And for this paragraph, we'll specify here style equal to, I'm going to add it color, colon. Let's say add this one. If you want to change color. Let me use it. Either you can use it color like a brown, dark magnet, blue, or like that you can use it, or else if you want to use it, you can use the RGB 25511 or like this also you can use it. So these are the another keyword. So whenever you change the keyword, it is automatically changes the whatever the one you want to use it. That's exactly the one it is going to use it. Right? It is RGB colors also you can use. Now here, this is the paragraph. Let's say here, let's specify here paragraph. Paragraph is HTML with CSS. HTML with CSS. And then we have a next paragraph. Now this paragraph is style equal to, we have a color colon. Now you can add other colors here. Now this is the one, and if you want to change it, RGB 13900. But in this case, if you want to change it different color, you can use it. And this paragraph here, let's say CSS with inline style. CSS with inline style. Click on this same. Let's save this program. Now let's specify here CSS HTML with CSS. This is HTML with CSS. Now let's open that page HTML with CSS. So this is how it is going to display. This is the first heading, second heading, HTML with CSS. This is the one paragraph, this is another paragraph. Now, if you want to change the colors of anything here, now what you can do is right click on this, inspect, right click, inspect, and cross verify here. Now here it says right click, inspect, which are the one you wanted to check. So just check here. So it says color brown. Now if you want to change anything here, you can change it. This is the dark brown, or if you want to change a different color, you can change it. Right, so this is the color. Now after changing it, it will be converted as a hash. You have a three different ways to apply the color. Either you can give a direct color name, like a blue, red, green, like that you can specify it, or else you can use the hash keywords. Hash keywords also we have it, 29536. Now if you want a hash color codes, you can search here, Google. Hash color codes.
Six.
So you can say here, so if you search here, it says that hex color code. So whatever the hex color codes are there, so it will be converted into the RGB color code, right? So this RGB is either you can specify the RGB, or else you can use the whatever this hash starting with hash it is there. It will be used as a 00 or FF in FF. What are the colors are there? You can click this. Right, so this is the color coding that how you will be applying for the inline styling. Let's say, for example, if you want to apply it to the complete body. Now this is the body, and this one I wanted to apply the background color. Let's specify here style equal to background color, and let's say I'm going to use it in it. Maybe aqua, I'm going to use this. Now let's click on this same. Now refresh the page. That page has refreshed it. It is applied the color background color. And on top of it, whatever the inline styling for the each attribute is there, the inline styling will be applied. So that's about the inline styling. Next one is internal CSS. Internal CSS is nothing but internal CSS for internally for all the, for example, we have a in HTML, we have a multiple H1s are there, multiple paragraphs are there. Now all the paragraphs will be in one color. Entire body should be in one color. All the H1 should be in one color. Wherever the H1 we are using it, all the H1 should be in one color. Instead of applying the styling for every element here, I wanted to say globally, I wanted to say for this particular component or this particular HTML, wherever we are using the H1, all the H1 should be in the dark green or a green color. Like that we wanted to use it. So in that case, what we will do is we will go for an internal CSS. So HTML head, and then inside this, we have inside the header, you need to use the style. Inside the header, use the style. So within the style, we will specify the what is the H1 color, what is the paragraph color, what is the body color. So specify in internal CSS will be always specified within this style. And this style is available inside the header. So whatever the styling we are applying inside the header, which will be applied to the all the HTMLs, all the HTML, wherever we are using inside the body H1, paragraph 1, or any tags if you are using inside this, then you can, this style gets applied to the everyone. Right, so whatever the code you are writing it within this style is going to apply the colors for everyone. Right, so all the H1 should be in the blue colors and all the paragraph should be in the color and the body should be the light gray. So, and if you have any other tags, you can specify here. Let's say, for example, I'm going to implement new one file, new text file. Select the language, HTML. I'll specify here HTML. And inside this, we have a header. Body. In header, we have a title. Title will be, this is internal CSS page. After that, we need to add the style. Inside the header, we need to add the style. Inside this style, let's specify here. I want to apply entire body. So whatever the HTML body is there, the body background color should be. Background color should be here. I wanted to add it. Almond color. Right, and then similarly, whatever the H1 tags are there, all the H1 tags, I wanted to apply the color. All the H1 tags color. Color should be, let's say here. Let's apply this green. This is the all H1 tags. Similarly, T1 tags. That's a paragraph tag. What are the paragraph tags are there? All the paragraph tags will be in the color. We can use any color here. Now this is how you will be applying the styles. Now inside the body, you can write whatever the content is there, you can write all the content here. Let's specify here H1. The H1. Similarly, I'm going to add the paragraph. And another paragraph will add it. Right, so here H1, paragraph, paragraph. So let me find out some text here. Let's go to the HTML. Let's go to the W3 code and paragraph. I'll add this one. Put some text here. Similarly, in the paragraph, I'll add it. Paragraph and here HTML H1, I'm going to add it as a HTML tutorial. Here I'll say here, say easy to learn with HTML. Easy learning with HTML. Let's save this. HTML with CSS. And I'll specify here -1. Click on this save. Let's refresh, and here is the page. Right, so this is the background color, and we have added the H1. All the H1 should be in this color. All the paragraph will be in this color. So let me change the paragraph color. Refresh. So here it is, right? So in entire page, wherever the H1 paragraphs are available, automatically the style is going to take care of it. Whatever the style is there inside the head tag, so this style is going to take care of everything, which is called internal CSS. Next one, we have a external CSS. External CSS. Before going to the external CSS, for example, let's say here, this is the internal CSS. Let's assume that this page is having an internal CSS as well as inline CSS. Assume that this paragraph, I'm adding the inline CSS. Here I have both of them. Color, column. Let's say it is a, assume that this page is having a internal CSS and inline CSS. When we have a both of them, inline CSS and internal CSS, which one it will work?
Inline.
Inline it should be.
Inline or internal?
Two colors.
So it will be definitely, let's refresh this, inline, it will work. Right, so the other one which we have is different color. Now if I change it to the red, let's save this. Refresh. Right, so it is inline CSS will be overwritten with the internal CSS. Now, external CSS is first we need to create a CSS file. We need to create separately the CSS file and the extension will be the .css. So for whatever we have created, the extension for these are .html. Right, so we need to create a .css file. And then whatever in the CSS file, whatever the styling you are adding it, you can add all the styling. So let me create it one CSS file. So what I'll do is I'll copy this style. Now file, new text file, select the language. We are going to create a CSS file. Right, so this is the CSS file. Now let's specify here file save as. To use this as a HTML CSS and the extension will be the .css. Click on this save. Let's refresh here. So we have a CSS file. So this is the CSS file which we have created. That means I have a CSS file which is stored into the same location. It is stored into the same location. Now this external file we need to call inside the HTML. Now let's say here, and instead of doing this, file, new text file, select the language, HTML, specify here. I'm going to remove the style. Now, let's say here, so we will create a HTML file. Inside the HTML file, in head, we need to provide the referral link. Whatever the name of the CSS file, we need to provide it as a referral link in the head. And then we need to specify here body, and after that we will be ending up the HTML. Now, only the difference between the internal and external is internal will be having a within the head, you will be specifying the style. This is the internal CSS. Now let's save this. Now we are going to implement the external CSS. This is external CSS. Now this external CSS, in order to call the external CSS, we need to use the tag called link. And inside this link, you can give any name here. So which is a rel is, we have an attribute. So you can specify here, this is a style sheet. Rel equal to style sheet. And then href. And here we need to provide the CSS file. Now the CSS file, right click. Show more options. Rename HTML CSS. Copy that and specify here HTML CSS dot CSS. Click on this save. Let's say here this is a HTML CSS -2. Click on this save. Let me open that. HTML with CSS -2. So this is the -2, which it is displaying the information. Now let me modify a few more things in the CSS file. Right, so I did not apply any styling here, right? So this is inline styling, but for H1, this paragraph, I have not applied the CSS, but it is automatically taken because we are calling the external CSS here. Let's say if I change the external CSS, let's assume I'm changing the color, as well as let's assume that I want to change the font size. I want to change the font size, maybe the large, medium, small, extra small, or 0%. That's 0% in a sense, like let me add it here 300%. And also I want the text to be in the center. Right now header is coming is this side. Now I want the header to be in the center. In that case, I will say here text align. Text align equal to center. Click on this save. Click on this refresh. Now it is coming as a center. Now where are we changing it? We are changing the external CSS file. We are not changing the HTML file. We are changing the external CSS file. Similarly for the paragraph, if you want to add a paragraph, let's add the paragraph here, text align. Text align, let's say here right. I wanted to align it to the right, as well as border. I will specify here border equal to 1 pixel solid. Let's say I'm going to specify the color here. Let's use it as red. Now let's add this same. Go back, refresh. It is adding the border to the 2 paragraphs. It is starting from the right? So here it is this one is at the right alignment. If you say left alignment, it will be starting from here. If you say right alignment, it will start from this side. Now that's the border. In case if you want to change the border, you can change the border. Now let's say here I wanted to change the border color. Instead of this, I'll say here blue color. Click on this save. And right, so we are adding the inline, external CSS. This is external CSS. Now CSS fonts, which we have already seen, so you can add the font family, font size, left alignment, center, right alignment, right? You can use it, all the font related information, which we have already seen. We have a padding. Padding is, okay, we will see the padding onwards tomorrow. Till this point, is everybody clear?
Yeah.